And then I'm going to do another recording because there's two. One that's on my computer and one, let's see. Uh-oh, record. Record. Oh, okay. I guess it's recording on my computer. I just want to make sure it records on my computer. Okay, you can go ahead and let them in. It's a minute. It's a minute. Or I can let them in. You want to come on screen too to start? Yes, 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 yes. Oh, Leo's calling me.
I was just talking to you. Did you hear me?
I didn't. I didn't. Hello, hello.
Good
Hello,
day.
hello.
Hi.
How are you? Leo, you were just in the waiting room. I'm letting you in now, man. No, you're coming in. All right. You have to click. It says joining. Hey, this is tech support, right? Live in living color. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to see you all. Arlene. Well, Leo didn't come in yet. He's still showing. Oh, he wasn't admitted yet. Ah, I see, I see, I
I
see.
see a rare event happening here, and take note of it. As many guys as there are gals. So, oh,
I know.
now
You
we
know what?
outnumber the gals.
It's going to be more. Look, because when Leo, yeah, Leo's here. Yeah, this is a first. I have to take a picture of this. Like, this is like never happened before, never seen before. Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Now we have Dean, first timer. Welcome, Dean, to the room. We have Kelly, who's been here day two, and Arlen's been here day two, and Leo, we lost Leo. He's in and out of Wi-Fi for some reason. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure he'll come back. I'm sure he'll come back. And Arlen, I know you don't have air. Do you have access to my Zoom?
I do. What do you want me to do?
You can look in at the registrants and remind them for day two. Sometimes they forget. So
Okay.
out of out of respect for everyone's time, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Is that okay? That is okay. So we're here on day two. I'll give you a short recap, but before I do that, I want to pray and ask that what is spoken today resonates and it makes a change because yesterday we talked about a shift. So I'm going to open in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for day two of this virtual Legacy Leader Compass event. I pray that everything that is spoken that comes from you, which is your Holy Spirit coming through me, is resonating with those who are here and that they are able to make the shift that's necessary for the change and the breakthrough. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, 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 amen. All right, all right. So I want to do a short recap to give us some time. But before I do the recap, I want to set the stage for today, kind of give you an agenda, so to speak. So I'm going to do some training to go over in a context of red light, green light, yellow light, like we did yesterday. So we're going to go over some questions again, but we're going to review some of the questions that you did yesterday, but we're going to have a visual up because I want to have a whiteboard where I can actually see because yesterday I had my screen on and I couldn't see as we went along, but I was able to go back through. It says I'm signing in for my, oh, yeah. Okay. Um, I was able to go back through and capture where some of the reds were, and most of the reds were around the wealth creation legacy piece. Some were around the communication speaking piece. So we'll go back and we'll recap those. Also, I want to know if there were any takeaways. I mean, yesterday I consider it like a fire hose, and that was intentional. I wanted to give you um, like a lay of the land of the program of Legacy Leader Compass. I wanted to give you the lay of the land. So you have the lay of the land. But now we're going to go a little bit deeper with some of the questions. So this time, let's see, I have something in the chat, make sure. All right. Somebody's munching. All right. So let
Ask
me
a
explain.
question.
Oh, you have a question? Yes.
I do. I'm trying to help
Yes.
you. I'm sorry. Um, I've never had registrants in a Zoom before. Where do I find their emails in here?
Under registration. If you look in the, okay, let me go ahead and let these
I
people
got it.
in. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome, 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 everyone, for day two of Legacy Leader Compass. I was just beginning to give an idea on how we're going to navigate today. So today I will be going over the game. I'll be explaining what the program is that I have to offer, but you cannot purchase anything today. So get comfortable because you're not buying anything today. The only thing that I ask from you is if you have not already booked a follow-up feedback call from me, that you do that before the day's out. And I have a Calendly link that I will put in the chat. That's all I ask is that you book that feedback call. And when you book it, I ask that you keep that appointment because I'm giving this information because I want to share this with you. And I think it's important that whether or not you decide to move forward, it's important that we be people of integrity. And that's all I ask of you is if I've here, Leo's trying to get in again, Arlen. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Okay, so all I ask in return is that you schedule that call. So I like to have fun. I like to play games. And for those who have not met me before, my name is Kathy Cross Reese, and I am the founder of the Legacy Leader Compass. And in that particular program, we do a lot of deep dive learning into identity, purpose, and power through the lens of leadership, communication, wealth creation, systems. There is a litany of things, but we're going to go step by step today. Are you ready? Ready? Okay, buckle up. I won't go as fast as I did yesterday. So yesterday I zoomed through it. I gave pretty good context of what those particular areas are, but I think it would help if I could see your faces on the screen when I do it. So this time I'm going to do a whiteboard, but I want to explain the ground rules again. So red light, green light, yellow light. When I say something, I'm going to ask you a question. And when I ask you the question, if it's a go, if it's green, if it's congruent with you and what you do, then you're going to give it a green light. And I want you to put that in the chat. But before you even do that, I want you to draw a triangle. Okay? I want you to draw a triangle. It's important that you do that, and I'll show you on the whiteboard if I can get that in sync and watch you at the same time. But I want to see your faces while I'm saying this. So you're going to draw a triangle. And when I give you the first one, you're going to start, let's see, on the left side of the triangle. The left side of the triangle, that would be module one. So left side of the triangle is module one. The right side of the triangle is module two. And so module one is acquire. Module two is achieve. And module three is accumulation. Okay? Triangle left is number one, module one, and that is achieve. Am I getting that right? Let me look back at my notes. Achieve, acquire, and accumulate. So here we go. We're going to get started. Um, I wanted to play some inspirational music for you, but because this is Zoom and I don't want to do a screen share with YouTube, I'm going to bypass it. So just know that I planned to do that for you. And if you know Yolanda Adams, the song is Victory. Yeah, Victory by Yolanda Adams. So if I get a chance at the end, I'll incorporate that. So I'm ready to take some action. We've had our prayer, and now we're going to start with our first key point. First key point in red light, green light. I want to make sure I started in the right area, which is identity. Yesterday, I asked you some very basic questions about identity. But this time, we're going to go a little bit deeper. But I want to give you some key points before we do that. The difference between products, well, let's see. We're going to talk about impact, creating solutions that matter, right? When we go over this program, we're going to be talking about solutions that matter. Now, it looks like I have my day mixed up. So give me 1 second. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I have a worksheet for you. And I think it would be helpful if I just put the worksheet in the chat. I'm going to put the worksheet in the chat for you. Okay. Mm, I apologize. I have this and it's in a form that is not the way I had set it up. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. Here we go. Day 2. Identity. Okay. Shifting mindsets. When you shift your mindset to an attitude of attraction, then you attract what you say. I believe heaven is voice activated. So when you speak life, that's what you get in return. If you speak death, that's what you get in return. So when you think about attracting identity, you think about the power that comes through your voice, because as I said, heaven is voice activated. So I have some key points and then I have the questions. So I want to kind of go over some key points so that it solidifies in your mind what I mean by identity. I asked yesterday if you knew who you were, right? I said, who am I? And I said, I am a vessel, a voice vessel for the kingdom. I speak for the kingdom. And I gave you an opportunity to say who you were and to use no more than 3 words after you say I am. Many of you did that. You said I am, and then you fill in the blank. Some of you had many words to say, and I helped you condense those down to 3 words. And I think that's important to solidify your identity because many times we get our identity from others. We get our identity from what people say we are. We get identity from our community. We get identity from our family. And we also get identity from the world. And so that is identity. And how you see yourself, your self image influences what you attract in business and in life. So, how you see yourself is attracting. If you think about how you enter a room, if you enter a room and your immediate thought is fear, if your immediate thought is apprehension, but then that is what you are going to attract. But if you go into that room with confidence, with poise, with confidence and knowledge that you are, I'd say, owning the room, then that's what you are going to attract. People will come up to you and want to do business with you because they see that you are exuding what it is you want to receive. So that is how attraction works. So the first question I have for today and I'm going to pull up, I said I was going to pull up let me see if I can pull up a whiteboard. Whiteboard. Well, I'm a, I don't know how to do the whiteboard. Like I practiced it, but I don't want to delay. So let's just imagine. Oh, you know what? My grandson drew a house on it, but here we go. God provides. God provides. My grandson drew a house on it, but I have a whiteboard. So we're going to use this one. Yay. Thank you, Jesus. Here we go. So you start out, as I said, with the triangle. Okay. So you're starting out with a triangle, right? And then on the, we have different sides, but on one side, you're going to put a curve right here and like a little sunshine. And here we're going to talk about 3 points. And each point is going to represent a name and a color. So the first point is identity. And I'm going to ask you a question about identity, and you're going to put a color. I have different colors, but for the sake of time, I want to just give you the overall concept. So you have a triangle, right? And this side, which will be your left side, maybe your right. Left side, you're going to do a little curve. I want to make sure I have the right word. I believe it's achieve. Yes, achieve is the first one. So this module, that's what the hump is. The module is module 1, it's achieve. So under identity, I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to give me a color. Okay, I'm ready? Yesterday I did inside out. I want to go a lot deeper with these questions. So here we go. Here we go. Where are my questions, Lord? I'm seeing my key points and I'm looking for my questions, so I apologize for the delay. I may have to create a new question like I did yesterday. New question. Here we go. Here we go. Question for identity. Question for identity. I see wealth. I see impact. Lord Jesus. I'm going to have to create it, guys, because I had it all set up, but it's not exactly where I wanted it to be. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. The first question I have under identity for you to represent whether it's green, you are in agreement, you are moving in that direction, or yellow, whether you're half in, half out. Sometimes you are consistent, other times you're not. Or red, you either have no idea how to even get started, or you're not in agreement that that's even maybe even necessary. So here we go. What is the most impactful solution or product you currently offer or plan to offer that truly addresses a problem that your audience or community has? Now, I know that's kind of a long question. What is the most impactful solution or product you currently offer or plan to offer that truly addresses a problem your community or audience have? So if you have an impactful solution that a product or service that your audience has, then I want you to make that green. That is not my identity piece. That is my impact piece. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, guys, because that is my second piece, impact. I appreciate your patience because that is not the question I wanted.
It's kind of a deep question. I like
I
it, though.
know, that's why it's like, I'm going back. I'm going back because that is not the question I wanted. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now, I'm going to give a scenario this time for
Okay.
identity. So just rewind the tape. You've been given a major business opportunity that could lead to exponential growth. However, you've always felt like you're not ready or worthy for such an opportunity. What should be your next step? And I'll give these color codes. So A is green. No, I'm not going to give you colors. Okay, rewind. A, B, and C. So if it is, I don't want to give away the answer. I'm trying not to give away the answer here. Okay, so I've given you a scenario, and I'm going to give you options A, B, or C. Okay, and whichever one you choose, then you want to color that one green, and you want to color the one that you're not so sure it's like half right, you want to color that one yellow. And if it's absolutely off base, you want to color that red. So I'm going to recant that because I had a false start here. I jumped to the second part before I got to the first part. So under identity, we are unlocking the power of your mindset. Remember, I said heaven is voice activated. What you speak, you're attracting to yourself. And that's a powerful principle of, and people call it the law of attraction, but I call it speaking life because the Bible talks about life and death is in the power of the tongue. So this scenario, I'm going to repeat the scenario and then I'm going to give you A, B, and C. And you're going to color using a triangle because we're still going back to this, a triangle. And you're going to make a little curve and some spokes out of it. And the first spoke is going to be identity. So in this identity, I want to know which one of these is your green, which one is your yellow, and which one is your red, right? You're not going to fill them all out, but whichever one resonates with you, if it's the yellow, then put yellow. If it's the red, put red. Does that make sense now? Now I'm back on track. Does that make sense now?
I think so.
You think so?
Go ahead and give us the example, and I think it will make a little bit more sense once you get through that.
Once you
Okay.
get going.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. You've been given a major business opportunity that could lead to exponential growth. However, you've always felt like you're not ready or worthy for such an opportunity. What should be your next step? A, decline the opportunity because you don't believe you are capable yet. B, step into the opportunity, trust your mindset, and leverage your affirmations and vision to take action. Or C, wait until you feel 100% confident before making any decisions. And so with that, if it's simpler for you, you can put A, B, and C because I can look at the responses and see which one is green, which one is yellow, and which one is red. Okay? So one of those that you resonate with, if you know it for sure, absolutely, you're certain about it, then color it green. If you're not quite sure, color it yellow. If you feel it's not in agreement with what you would do or you have no idea, make it red. Okay, so that's under identity. Can I get some in the chat, some A, B, and C so I can kind of see? So the first one, decline the opportunity because you don't believe you're capable of it, was A. Step into the opportunity, trust your mindset, and leverage your affirmations and visions to take action was B. And C was wait until you feel 100% confident before making any decisions. C. Okay.
All votes in are B right now.
Okay, B happens to be green. Okay. So that's how I'll do it. I'll give you the color after. If I get different ones, okay? So then that'll, because I don't want to give you the answer of the green one. That would kind of defeat the whole purpose of you of you knowing, figuring it out for yourself, okay? Here we go. Next one. And this one is capital. So on your triangle, you have the first one, which was identity, and you answered that B, so you can put a green dot there. So you're green under identity, which is where you were yesterday. Everybody was pretty much green for the questions that I asked. Okay, now this next question has to do with capital. Capital is mastering the flow of resources, right? It could be money, it could be stocks, it could be inventory, it could be a litany of things, it could be intangible things, it could be art, it could be jewelry, it could be many, many things. So, mastering the flow of resources. So, here is your scenario. You are preparing to scale your business and need capital to do so. You never raised funding before and feel uncertain about approaching investors. What is your first step? A, take out a personal loan from the bank to fund the business expansion. B, research and identify the right funding sources, create a pitch deck, and seek potential investors. Or C, rely solely on your personal savings without exploring external capital options. And I'll read that again.
Is there a D?
No, Leo.
Well, D is create cash flow and just pay for it.
You can think outside the box, Leo. You're not pigeoned in, so but those are the options. So let me see how we're doing. So A was take out a personal loan from the bank to fund the business expansion. B was research and identify the right funding sources, create a pitch deck, and seek potential investors. And C was rely solely on your personal savings without exploring external capital options. See where we're at. So we have A, B, B. Is that right? Has everybody voted? B with prayer. Berlin. So is that the final answer? Final answer is okay. So number two, the final answer, the correct or the green answer, I shouldn't say correct, but the green answer is B. Research and identify the right funding sources, create a pitch deck, and seek potential investors. The almost correct answer is A. Taking a personal loan can be an option, but it isn't the most sustainable way to scale, as external funding is usually better for business growth. And the incorrect answer is C. Relying only on personal savings limits growth and puts personal finances at risk. Or we can pick Leo's answer D, which was, what was yours, Leo?
Just jack up the current business to create the cash flow.
Oh, increase your pricing?
No, increase the cash flow. Increase, um, uh, just knock out a bunch of work, and then just have extra money.
Work harder?
Well, just
Okay,
yeah, something like that.
okay. All right. So on here, if you picked B, then you want to put a green under capital. So you want to put a word next to the next segment. Wish I had different colors across the room, but I don't want to run across the room. So here is identity, right? Identity. This second one is capital. Capital. Okay. Looks like Shanice is coming in the room. Okay. So your second one is capital. Now for the third one, welcome to the room, Mr. Kiki and Shanice, welcome to the room, and Kalia, welcome, and Janice. Didn't welcome everyone. I just jumped right in. Welcome Arlen, welcome Janet, welcome Leo, welcome Sharon, welcome Kelly and Dean. Let me make sure I said your name. So we just went through the first three in module one. We just went through the first three in the scenario. Well, actually, we went through the first
Two.
two. We went through the first two. So here we go for number three, which is systems. Systems help you to build for scalability. So here is your scenario. You are business owner. Here you go. You're experiencing rapid growth and things are getting chaotic. You're juggling multiple tasks without clear processes. What's the first thing you should implement to improve? And again, we have A, B, and C. And once you answer your A, B, and C, I'll give you the color code for that. So here we go. Your first step under A is hire more employees to do the task manually. B, establish automated systems for key business processes, example, customer service and marketing. Or C, continue to manually handle all tasks, believing you'll manage as the business grows. So I will repeat those again while you're thinking and writing them down. Make sure you put your answer in the chat and on your paper, and I'll rehash how you're doing that. So you're experiencing rapid growth. Your things are getting chaotic. You're juggling multiple tasks without clear processes. What's the first thing you should do to implement and improve? Put it in the chat. A is hire more employees to do the task manually. B is establish automated systems for key business processes, i.e., customer service and marketing. Or C, continue to manually handle all tasks, believing you'll manage as the business grows. And this is how you are handling your business. So, truly, how do you want to handle your scaling business? And put it in the chat. I don't remember the last answer. So has everyone voted? Boom, boom, boom. Looks like B, B, B. Leo, B, B. Looks like everyone's voted. Looks like.
C was manually continue doing what you're doing, I think is what you said, right? What was C?
C was continue to manually. I thought you said D. I was like, I didn't have a D. Yes, C was continue to manually handle all tasks, believing you'll manage as the business grows. So it's looking like everybody's saying B, correct? Okay, so B is green. So on your board where you have the triangle on the left side, the top, you already had identity. Everybody answered green for that one. And then under capital, we had mostly green. We have one yellow. And then under systems for scalability, which is the third one, it looks like everybody answered B, which is correct. B is that establish automated systems for key business processes. And I don't need to do the almost correct, but if you wanted to know what the almost correct answer is, it's hiring more employees. Well, no, excuse me. A, hiring more employees is a good option, but it doesn't address the underlying issue of inefficiency. So with the business getting chaotic, you need systems in place. Okay, now you have completed the left side of the triangle. And I know it's not a good visual, and I apologize, but you're drawing this on your own paper. You're drawing a triangle. Your top, or it doesn't matter which order you go in, but you have one of the legs that represents identity. The second leg represents capital. The third leg represents systems. And we just went through scenarios, and based on your answer, you get a color code. Okay, now we are going to Module 2. Module 2 has to do with, let's see, Module 2 has to do with acquiring, or acquire, excuse me. So on the triangle, now this was achieved, just to kind of give the module headline. Module 1 is achieved, and we just went through those three parts. Module 2 is on the right side. I don't know if my right is your right or left, but it's on the right side of the triangle. You're going to do the same thing that you did here. You're going to do a little kind of half C, and you're going to do three spokes coming out, right? And I'm going to address the first spoke, which is communicate. So here we go. Communicate. Communicate is leading through influence. You get to communicate. Here is your scenario. You are leading a team meeting, but the communication between the team members is disjointed and they seem unclear about your vision. What should you do to improve the situation? A. Start speaking louder to ensure everyone hears your voice. Or B. Actively listen to their concerns and clarify your vision with storytelling and specific action items. Or C. Send out a detailed email after the meeting and assume the message will get through. Sorry. Assume the message will get through. So that's either A, B, or C. Communicate. Leading through influence. You're leading the team. Communication is a bit disjointed, and you want to make sure your vision is clear and the concerns are clear. Do I need to read those again? A is start speaking louder to ensure everyone hears you. B is actively listen to their concerns and clarify your vision with storytelling and specific action items. Or C, send out a detailed email after the meeting and assume the message will get through. So, looks like I have a couple of answers here. B, 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 B. This seems to be a safe answer, but I think it's not always going to be. Okay, so B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Did I have any non-Bs? Non-Bs. Everyone here is great in communication. That is awesome. Amazing. Okay, if it was almost correct, I think you got it based on me speaking louder, that is not going to help with communication. And C, sending out an email without, that's very passive. People may or may not read it. Okay, so you got the right side of the, let's see, you did your little half moon and your three spokes, and then put your whatever your dot. I put red. I'm just doing it for example. So red. Okay. All right. The next one, and that was communicate. So that's communicate. You get green in communicate. Okay. The next one is leadership. Leadership is empowering others to lead. In this scenario, you've been struggling to motivate your team to take ownership of their roles. What's the most effective approach to improve leadership? A. Start micromanaging to ensure tasks are completed to your standards. B. Empower your team by delegating responsibilities and providing opportunities for growth and leadership. Or C. Focus only on the results and tell your team to just get it done without providing context or support.
I like that one. Get it done yesterday.
Get her done. All right. All right. So go ahead and final answer. Final answer. We have our votes in. You can cast your votes. Like I said, it's looking like BBB, but don't think it's always going to be that way. All right. And you are correct. So if you have responded with B, that is green. In red light, green light, yellow light, it is green. So I don't have a green marker here. It's across the room. So I don't want to jump up and get it right now. Okay, so you would just make your dot green under leadership. So now you have two dots on the right side. You have the communicate, which you got for green. Most, I think everyone got green. And then under leadership, you have green. Okay, here we go. Moving up to impact. Impact, you're creating solutions that matter. Your business is growing and you want to make a deeper impact on your community. What's your first move in creating a meaningful, impactful solution? A, develop a product or service that solves a common problem your audience faces and focus on providing real value. B, focus on marketing your business first, hoping that your audience will find value in your product eventually. Or C, follow the latest trends and launch a product just because it's popular, even if it doesn't align with your audience's needs. Impact creating solutions that matter. What's your first move? What is your first move? Was that one pretty easy? Yeah, you got it right. A. A is green. That one sounds like pretty obvious. Even if you thought the other thing, sounds like the right answer, right? Okay, so it was A, developed a product or service that solves a common problem your audience faces and focus on providing real value. That is how you make an impact. And you get to color that impact one. So you have three of them filled out on the right side. You have communicate, leadership, and impact. So all three. Now we're going to get down to the bottom of the triangle. And the topic for this first line, so you're going to do another like half circle underneath the bottom of the triangle, and you're going to put three spokes. Okay? Three spokes. Here we go. The first spoke is wealth creation, generating multiple streams. You've been making steady income from one source, but you want to increase your wealth and reduce risk. What should you do next? A. Focus on diversifying your income streams through investments, new business ventures, or partnerships. B. Continue focusing solely on one source of income you have and hope for increased sales. C. Start cutting expenses aggressively instead of growing your income. Wealth creation, generating multiple streams. And put it in the chat what your response is. A, B, or C. Here we have one C. And we have an AA, a double A battery, Leo. All right. All right. So all answers are in. Okay, so the green answer is A. A. So if you have answered A, then under the spoke where you have written the word wealth, and let me back up. The topic for this module is module 3, it's accumulate. So module 3 is accumulate. And the spoke that we are on is the wealth spoke. At the bottom of the triangle is wealth. Okay? Welcome, Dr. Smile. The bottom of this one is wealth. And if you picked A, then you get green. If you picked B, you were almost correct. That would be yellow. That's focusing on growth in one area is good, but diversifying your income streams reduces risk and accelerates wealth creation. The incorrect answer is C. Cutting expenses without growing income limits your ability to scale. So that one would be red. So if you answered C, then that would be red. If you answered B, that would be yellow. And if you answered A, that would be green. So you guys are greening it up here. We got a few yellows and maybe one red. That's not bad. Here we go. The next spoke is under stewardship. So the triangle that you've drawn on the bottom of it, there's three spokes. The second spoke is stewardship. Stewardship is managing your resources wisely. Managing your resources wisely. So here's your scenario. You get to pick A, B, or C. You've had a good year financially, but you've worried about preserving and growing your wealth long term. What is the first thing you should focus on? A. Spend a large portion of the income on luxuries or short-term rewards. B. Set aside a portion for savings and investments, ensuring your wealth is managed wisely for future growth. Or C. Keep all the profits in your business without considering personal savings or investments. So A, B, or C. A, B, or C. And this is your second spoke on the bottom of Module 3, which is accumulation or accumulate. Okay, put it in the chat, A, B, or C. If I need to read it again, I can. A, B, or C. Okay, has everyone voted? Roz, what's up with all three? You're like,
As we planning his we planning his birthday, and then I didn't hear the question, so I put all three to be safe.
oh, happy birthday, Vinny.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes, yes. So A, B, or C, and looks like the answer, let's see, most everybody has the correct answer, which is B. And for that, you get a green dot. So we got good stewards in the room, good stewards, at least based on that question, right? It gives very clear response on how to be a good steward. So I think it's helpful in that regard. So if you have B, I don't think we had any other color, but if you picked C, reinvesting in your business is important. Balancing it with personal savings and investments is key for wealth preservation. That's almost correct. Almost correct. Let's see. But the correct answer was B. All right, the next one is legacy. So on your triangle at the bottom, which is the accumulation module, you have those three spokes. You've already answered your wealth creation, your stewardship. Now we're on to legacy. Legacy is building long-term wealth. You've started to think about your legacy and how to pass on your wealth and knowledge to future generations. What's the most important first step? A. Focus on building a strong foundation of financial education and a wealth transfer plan, including legal tools like wills or trusts. B. Start giving away a large portion of your wealth without a clear plan, hoping it will be appreciated. Or C. Wait until retirement to start thinking about passing on your wealth. Okay, so you are building long-term wealth. Do I need to, let's see, I got one answer, a couple of answers. Don't wait till everybody answers. Y'all can answer however you want to.
Can you go through the choices again, please?
Okay, so I'll read the scenario too. You're starting to think about your legacy and how to pass on your wealth and knowledge to future generations. What's the most important first step? A. Focus on building a strong foundation of financial education and a wealth transfer plan, including legal tools like wills or trusts. B. Start giving away a large portion of your wealth without a clear plan, hoping it will be appreciated. Or C. Wait until retirement to start thinking about passing on your wealth. Okay, so if you could put your responses in the chat. I think almost everyone, I think everyone's voted. Okay, the correct answer is A. So A, you would get a green. Looks like many of you are getting green. You guys are good. So you got green. And that would be at the bottom of the triangle, the
Everybody
spokes.
else is cheating. I'm the one that's doing it right.
All
Arlene
right.
always waits for me to put it down.
You guys did great. You did great. Sorry. Did great. Any feedback on those questions, specifically the ones that maybe you're not quite there, but you know the answer was the right answer? Because oftentimes when you see a scenario like that, you'll see the answer and it's like, well, this is obviously the correct answer, but am I really doing that? Am I really doing wills and trusts? Have I really started that process, or do I just know that's the right thing to do? So any comments or feedback on any of those particular questions or responses before we go on?
Well,
No.
when I told my kids it's time to clean the room, and they would say, I know, Dad. It's time to brush your teeth, get ready for bed. I know, Dad. It's time to, get our coats so we can get going. I know. The problem is that you don't know. The problem is you don't do what you know. That's
Right,
great to
right,
keep
right.
telling me that you know, but the room's still not getting cleaned up. So I think it's everybody knows that I think, at least for me, I don't do. I sound like my kids. I know, but the room not getting clean, the teeth aren't getting brushed, and no one's getting ready to leave.
Right. So knowing it doesn't get it done.
I know,
Mm.
Dad.
Right, right, right.
I bet
Anyone
your
else?
grandkids tell you that, don't they?
Oh, yes, yes. I know. I know. I know.
Time to come to dinner. I know. Time to turn off the video game. I know. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I want to go over each of these, maybe give some context behind them, and then talk about, because really we went through the entire module yesterday by doing red light, green light. We went through it today, and I gave you a framework on how we are going to navigate it. So I want to take each step and give some insight on some action steps that you might want to take. So, yesterday I talked about shifting. Today is about implementing, because you can recognize that you need to make a shift, right, in your mind. If you think that you want to make that change and you make that mental shift, that's the first step. But just having it in your head, like Leo said, I know, because you know, but you haven't actually taken the action. So today's about taking the action. So the first one, identity, you guys were all green with that. Well, I believe everybody was green with that. But identity is a powerful mindset tool or your mind is really where your identity starts to cultivate. Yesterday I talked about Caroline Leaf's book, and I don't think I gave the name. It's the Cleaning Your Mental Mess is the name of it. And she talks a lot about how not just what you speak, but what you hear, anything that comes into anything that comes into your smell, I'm trying to think of the right word, anything that anything that flows to you, whether it's flowing through you uh, with a smell, certain smells, or auditorily, if you're hearing certain things. If you think about like music, if you're hearing some music that's like negative, is boom, and it may be doing a lot of cursing and stuff, that's going into your mind. It's literally feeding your mind. So when I think about feeding my mind, I think about what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, and what I'm hearing, what I'm smelling. I mean, even down to if I'm smelling something really foul, I don't want to be around, right? I mean, so just think about how you are receiving your your information. How are you receiving information? And are you staying in a place of receiving negative information, or are you shifting and moving yourself into an area where you can receive and actually execute or implement powerful, positive information? Your identity, looks like we have people coming in. Your identity is the cornerstone to success. Who you believe you are, and that determines what you attract. Who you believe you are determines what you attract. So here are some actionable steps. Even if you were green under identity, I think there's always room for growth. There's always room for growth. The first one is you want to shift from scarcity to abundance thinking. Now that sounds very simple, but if you think about it, when you use the words I don't have, or I can't, or I'm not, think about the words that come out of your mouth. Think about the words you hear other people say. When they say, you're not, you can't, do you agree with that? Do you mentally make that acceptance like that's okay? Do you receive that? Because what you are receiving becomes who you are, and that's that identity piece. And it's very subtle. It's very subtle. And you don't if you don't speak against it, then you are in essence receiving it. Because the spirit is a yes, no, yes, no. It's not a maybe. The spirit's not a yellow light. The spirit's red or green. It's go or no go. It's yes or no, right? Let your yes be yes and your no be no. It's absolute. There's a clear and definitive line. And so the actionable step I want to suggest for you under identity is to shift from scarcity to abundance thinking. Doesn't matter if you have it or not, it's what you think. Whatever a man thinks, so is he. So if you're thinking abundance, then you are going to attract and receive abundance. That's the first one. The second one we did yesterday, a lot of it, we did affirmations almost after every module, after every segment of the module, we did affirmations. Use affirmations and visualization to reprogram your subconscious. There was an exercise I did in another group where we had to do something with the other hand, the non-dominant hand. And this is something you can do, you know, anytime, just to actually activate your brain to actually not live in the subconscious. Because have you ever driven somewhere and you end up going to the same place that you always go, like to work? I tend to drive and I follow the same route to work. But I really hadn't planned to go to work. I planned to go somewhere else. And I've turned down the wrong road because I'm subconsciously driving to the same place. That's how your subconscious works. You're actually driving subconsciously, and that's scary when you think about it. So do something with your non-dominant hand. For example, brush your teeth. I'm right-handed, so I brush my teeth with my right hand. Take your toothbrush and do this for a day, 2 days, however long, and brush your teeth with your left hand and feel how your brain is is wanting to take that toothbrush and put it in, because you can easily do it in the other hand. So do something with your non-dominant hand. I just gave you an example, brushing your teeth. I actually tried it with my hand writing. I went through this prophetic training and they show you how to allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you by writing with your left hand. So we would say a prayer, we would do an activation, and then we would write with our left hand and ask the Holy Spirit to speak through us. So that's another potential exercise that you can use. But do something with your non-dominant hand, whether it's writing, whether it's opening a jar, do something with the non-dominant hand for at least a day to see what happens, what your response is. Okay. And then the third one is understand the impact of your internal dialogue on your external results. So many times our internal, what we're thinking, what we're processing inside doesn't match with what's happening outside. You ever feel that disagreement within yourself? Like, what I'm thinking is not what I'm doing. For example, with Dr. Roz, we were at the airport. I was thinking one sort of thing, right? I was thinking one sort of thing when the lady was like, no, you are not getting out of here today. Like, really? I am. I am getting out of here today. I just had to speak against it because a person can give you that, word, if you
Uh-oh.
will, give you that word,
Hello?
and you can receive it. Are you on the phone, Leo?
No, you froze
Oh,
on me. I don't know if you froze on
oh,
anybody
okay.
else.
You
Am
froze
I
for a
freeze?
second. Can you
Oh,
repeat that part about um, a person can say, and you kind of blanked out right there.
okay. A person can say something over you. I say it over you or to you, and you can come into agreement with it very easily by not speaking against it. If you just accept what someone says and you believe contrary to what they're saying, but you allow it to be spoken over you again and again and again, then you are subconsciously receiving that negative word. Whether you intend to or not, you are receiving that into your spirit. So be careful, be on guard for your identity. You are the gatekeeper for your body. You are the gatekeeper for your body. What you hear, what you see, and what you say. You are the gatekeeper and what you smell. So all of those, what you feel, what you touch, all of those tangible things, you are the gatekeeper for that. Okay, I think I spent a lot of time on that one. Let me jump down to capital. Mastering the flow of your resources. This is powerful because capital is what fuels your dreams. Learn how to leverage it and become a magnet for financial abundance. I heard an affirmation that Shanice used yesterday, and it was about being a financier. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. So, what you speak about yourself when it pertains to life, when it pertains to capital, when it pertains to identity, you are speaking that over yourself. Over yourself. So, actionable steps for capital. Understand different types of funding. Understand different types of funding, right? There's investors, there's loans, there's grants, there's a myriad of ways to access capital. That's one actionable step. Second actionable step is develop a compelling pitch for investors. If you have a product or service, then you would need to develop a compelling pitch if you want to be able to convey to them what it is you're selling or what service you have to offer so that you can actually make capital, raise money on that. Okay? So that's two. Is that you, Leo, making musical sounds?
That's my Charlie Brown Christmas clock. On the hour, every hour, it plays a Christmas
Oh,
song.
okay. Okay. All right. And
Merry Christmas, everybody.
number three actionable step is establish a funding strategy that aligns with your vision and business model. Establish a funding strategy that aligns with your vision and business model. Now, I won't go too deep into this, but there is a way to establish a vision. If you have a vision for your business, then there is a business model so that you can develop, so that you can acquire capital, right? I happen to know how to write grants. I've written grants and I've received money for nonprofit organizations. I haven't received it for profit organizations, but there's ways to welcome Nadisha. There's ways to align yourself with various funding resources to acquire capital. And the last point I want to make on capital is I think I said this one, maybe I'm repeating. Establish a funding strategy. Okay, I said that. Okay, now I want to go to systems because I want to get through and solidify which maybe there's an area that you might feel you're a little weak at. You can get information on how you can grow and activate those muscles, right? When you go to the gym, you exercise because you want to get stronger, you want to, you know, increase your muscles. So this is what we're doing. We're increasing our muscles. Now we're on systems. Systems, building for scalability. Scalability, for those of you who may not be familiar with that term, is how you take your business from, I'd say, from a single mom and pop shop to multiple shops, right? Or multiple locations. So a powerful insight is systems are the backbone of sustainable growth. Without them, you're just working in your business, not on it. You're working on you're just working in your business, not on it. So think about that. You're just working in it, not on it. Okay. Actionable steps 3. First, introduce system building principles, right? What's a system building principle? Automation, delegation, process mapping. There's various ways to create and build actionable systems. The best systems are the ones you create. You can create your own system. If you know you've already done it, you may not have written it down, but you have systems. What you do every day, there's systems that are already in place. The second point, actionable step under systems is demonstrate how systems can streamline operations and maximize efficiency. What is that? Well, there's flowcharts. You can create a flowchart. I saw a great one that Leo did. You can create a flowchart, how you can streamline systems. So whatever it is, you you use a flowchart to show if you were to turn left, this is what happens. If you were to turn right, this is what happens. Or however your business runs, if you were to go through a certain milestone, what happens? If you can't go through that milestone, what happens? So use a flow chart or mind mapping, process mapping. Number 2, actionable step under systems is I did that one. Did I do that one? Demonstrate how systems can streamline operations and maximize efficiencies. I think I just repeated myself on that. Okay, the third one is walk through a system building blueprint for common business processes. What's that? So a blueprint is much like an SOP or standard operating procedures or a template, something like framework, something that you've created or something someone else has created for business processes. This typically happens in sales or customer service. They have their own kind of blueprint. Like if a person says this, like scripts, if a person says this, then you say this. Telemarketers are good at this. They will continue to go and go and go. They'll continue to get your no and no and continue to go and go. So create a walkthrough system that you have, a blueprint, a system blueprint. Okay, so systems. The next one is communicate. Most of you did well on that, but there's always room for growth. Communicate, leading through influence, some powerful, actionable steps that you can take. Well, before I do that, effective communication isn't just about talking. Effective communication isn't just about talking, it's about inspiring others to take action through your words. Remember at the beginning, I said heaven is voice activated, right? When God created the heavens and the earth, he said, let there be. So your voice is going to activate through your mouth, right? Through your communication. And there's 3 actionable steps I have. The first one is mastering the art of storytelling. Mastering the art of storytelling to connect with your audience. When you tell a story, you bring people into your product or service and you allow them to see potentially themselves through you, through the lens of whatever has happened to you. So, mastering that art of storytelling. Storytelling also makes learning a lot more tangible. It makes it a lot more tangible. So, think about some stories. And yeah, they could be funny. Yeah, they could be, powerful. Just think of some stories that lend to your product or service, whatever it is you're offering, stories. Because when people hear those stories, they're like, "Ooh," they can identify themselves in that scenario. And then the second one is building rapport and trust through transparent communication. Building rapport and trust through transparent communication. And what is that? Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Build rapport. Don't go in for the sale. What is it? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you're starting with with attempting to get something from them and not acknowledging them for where they are and who they are, then you're starting a little further ahead than necessary because people want to know that you care about them before you care about whatever it is they have to offer or you have to offer them, right? Just being transparent and showing some rapport. How are you doing today? Before, hey, you want to buy this? I mean, I get that sometimes from people that are in sales. They give sales kind of a bad name. Okay, the third one, actionable step under communicate is creating a communication framework for your leadership style. We all have different leadership styles. And depending on your client or your prospect, then you may need to adjust how you communicate with them. For example, if someone is an engineer, I'm in real estate, and if I know I'm working with an engineer, I give them statistics, I give them data because they eat that up. If I'm dealing with a person who is very emotional and colorful and flowerful, then I don't give them numbers because they don't care about the numbers. They care about, well, what color is the house and what they care about different things. So your leadership style, even though you might have one particular leadership style, you need to know who your audience is so that you can communicate effectively with them based on their style, right? So that you're not turning them off because you're talking about numbers and they don't care about numbers, or you're talking about colors and they don't care about colors, they care about numbers. Okay, so knowing your audience, knowing your clientele. Leadership. Leadership is empowering others to lead. Leadership is not about authority. It is not about authority. It's about influence and empowering others to achieve greatness alongside you, right? Not over, but alongside you. That is what leadership is. Some actionable steps that you can take. Develop your leadership style, right? Some of us are servant leaders, some are transformational leaders. Know your leadership style. How do you lead? How do you lead? I have another real estate broker. We both have served as presidents in our realtor association, and he's done it 3 times. And we call him the dictator because he tells everybody what to do. And he enjoys that. He loves that. Now, that's not my leadership style, but everyone has their own unique style of leadership. But when you think about leadership and you're in the marketplace, you might want to look at your audience and whether or not they want to be led in the manner in which you're leading. Not that you have to turn into a chameleon or anything, but just know your audience. So develop your leadership style and also how your leadership style interfaces with other leadership styles. Know how to communicate your messaging. The second actionable step under that is use mentorship to elevate others, right? Mentorship. Mentorship is important. I have many mentors in my life, many, many mentors. And mentorship is someone who's already paid the way, they've already paid the price. So they've made the mistakes and they can tell you so you don't bump your head and make the same mistakes. That's what mentors are for. They've already paved the road. So use them to elevate others. And the third point is empower teams through delegation and autonomy. Empower teams through delegation and autonomy. So if you have a team, you want to empower them. You want to also delegate. And I don't have it in my notes, but I will also say don't micromanage. People don't like to be micromanaged. I mean, think about yourself. Do you like someone standing over you, telling you what to do? Then it makes you feel that they don't trust you. They're not confident in your abilities, or they think they are the only ones that know how to do it. So empower your team and delegate and give them the autonomy to get it done. And if they make mistakes, then that's an opportunity to mentor, right? To mentor. All right. Number 6 is impact. Impact, creating solutions that matter. We get to create solutions that matter. True impact comes when you focus on creating solutions that meet the needs of others. Your business should be a force for good. Okay, I see someone else coming in. Your business should be a force for good. Welcome, Al. Your business should be a force for good. Actionable steps under impact, where you get to create solutions that matter. Define your impact goals that align with both business objectives and social contribution. So know where you want to make an impact, right? When I think of impact, I think of jumping in the water like splash, and then there's, ripple, ripple, ripple. But true impact comes when you focus on creating solutions that meet the needs of others. You have solutions for problems that other people have, and that is how you get to have an exchange in the marketplace. I just had this conversation earlier today with a young lady, like super early this morning, maybe 6:30. We were on another Zoom, and she was talking about where people don't value what it is you have when you want to charge them. They value when they don't have to pay for it. But if you don't charge them for it, then you're being disobedient to the gift God's giving you. So God's given us all gifts and resources in us. And in exchange, we give and sell those gifts to others. And when we don't, when we give everything away, we are dishonoring ourselves. We are dishonoring the gift, right? We're dishonoring the gift that's in us. So whether the person buys or not is not the issue, because they're not buying us. They're buying a gift that's inside of us, right? They're buying the gift that's inside of us. So we had this dialogue about, sales, because some people, especially in the church environment or community, don't think that you should sell in that arena. They think that's a separate domain. But really, Jesus was in the marketplace. Jesus was in the marketplace. He was not just out there walking around. He had a treasurer that was stealing from him. He was pretty wealthy. He was not a poor man as he walked this earth. And he had business people that were with him. And he had fishermen, excuse me. They were out fishing. So he had all of these business people. Carpenter, he had all these business people. I don't know, one was a doctor. I don't know all their occupations, but they had occupations, right? And they were able to sustain even though they had someone stealing from them the whole time. Okay, so that's under impact. Now, define impact goals. I think I said that. The next one is introduce a CSR model. What's that? The CSR model is a corporate social responsibility model. So you can create a social responsibility model. That would be something you create, because you're thinking about, how can I make an impact? What would be socially responsible for me to do? I mean, you could think of big things like clean water, pollution, I don't know, whatever social impact um, model you want to create. That's impact, an actionable step that you can take if you choose. Another actionable step you can take is to map out creation strategies that can serve your target audience while also scaling your business. You can map out impact creation strategies. Think about new things, new designs, new ideas, new strategies that you get from the Holy Spirit. All of us get these. Many of us don't write them down. We think it's just a fleeting thought, but you have some ideas, some innovative ideas that you've been receiving, maybe at night during your dreams, maybe while you're washing dishes or whatever it is you're doing when your mind is, what is it? We have over 60,000, I think it's 60 or 80,000 thoughts a day. Now, the majority of them, according to statistics, is the majority of them are negative. But what if we were feeding ourselves so much positive, so much of the word? What if we were feeding ourselves so much of that, that our mind, like Caroline Leaf talks about, our mind is growing and cultivating and flourishing, and it's not being atrophied? What if? What if? So introduce and map out some creation or creative strategies on how you can serve your target audience while also scaling the business, right? So it could be for your target audience to scale the business, whatever business you're in. The next one is wealth creation. I think I gave you all of those. Okay. The next one is, sorry. Next one is wealth creation, generating multiple streams. I love this, multiple streams of income. I have another mentor who talks about the revenue octopus. That's what he calls it. And I thought that was strange when I first heard that, but he showed on a diagram like an octopus has all those tentacles, I think they call them. And so he would map out on the octopus the various revenue streams that were available through this investment um, mentorship program I was under. And so he would show all of these various ways that you could take one product, one investment, and you can generate 8 streams of revenue from one product. So if you have one product or service, think about how you can expand that into multiple streams of income. Sorry. How you can generate that into multiple streams of income. Read that phone. Okay, so develop. So one actionable step, I think I jumped ahead of myself. Um, True wealth comes from diversification. Build multiple streams of income to ensure your business is resilient and thriving. And that's where I was saying you could take your model, whatever your business in, and think outside the box. How how can I generate more revenue streams with this one piece of business? And if you don't know, ask the Holy Spirit because He says you have not because you ask not. So you can get that information from your divine. If you're a believer, you can get that insight because there's so much more that He has in store for us than we could ever ask, think, or imagine. So let's go. Okay, the next actionable step that you can take under wealth creation is explore new business opportunities and markets. So look outside of what you're already doing. And I don't know if Shanice is still on here. I was going to show her the book, but I just received a box of books that I ordered for the children's book that I wrote. And so that's another potential revenue stream. It's also a tool that I'm going to use for a speaking event that I'm going to. So multiple streams, explore new business opportunities and new markets, right? New markets, something outside of what you're already doing. Okay, the third actionable step under wealth creation is implement financial literacy practices to make informed decisions, right? Financial literacy, it sounds when I first heard this financial literacy, I thought, well, that's almost sounding like people don't know what to do with money. Well, it's true. Many don't because education coming up in schools, they don't teach a lot about financial literacy. They don't teach you, well, at least when I was coming up, they didn't teach us about bank accounts. They didn't teach us about interest. They didn't teach us about the rule of 72. I mean, all these different things. I didn't learn that until later in life. Or sometimes our parents don't teach us. I know I was raised where my parents didn't talk about money. And when I showed my father years ago my highest commission check, which was more than he made in a year, he said, "Don't do that. Don't show me that." So I was like shamed into showing that. But I understood that was from his generation. They didn't talk about money. They didn't show money. That was like a hidden thing. So think about what it is you have in terms of financial literacy. And if you don't feel you have it, then there's ways to get educated, get yourself educated for financial literacy. And then under wealth, the last one, well, that was the last one, implement financial literacy practices to make informed decisions. Okay, so that was wealth. Now, the eighth one is stewardship. Stewardship is managing your resources wisely. And when we think about stewardship, stewardship is not just about managing money, it's about managing people, time, assets in a way that ensures long-term sustainability. Many times when the word stewardship comes up, it's equated to the principle of the parable of the talents or the parable of the minas. And it's not just money. It's not just talents. It could be time. It could be anything that is enduring, anything that's long and enduring that you want to sustain. And here's some actionable steps for you. 3 steps. The first one is practice effective financial management, budgeting, and forecasting. Now, in some businesses, you need to forecast, especially where you have to purchase products and services. Now, I happen to be in both. I'm in sales and I sell houses, right? But I'm also in sales where I sell services. So, different types of sales I would need to forecast because my real estate is cyclical. So, I need to be able to forecast and not count that money before I get it. I need to base it on what I have in my hand, right? What I currently have, and be able to extend it out for the long term. When I first started in real estate, I would get a check and that check would be gone because I would have already expended before I got it. So I've learned through time, what is it? Time, seed, and harvest. I've learned through, mistakes. I've bumped my head many a times, but I've learned not to count them, not to count that money until I actually got it. Yeah, the next step. So that's practice effective financial management. Be able to manage what you have, budget, and forecast. The second actionable step under stewardship is implement resource allocation strategies to maximize efficiency. So take what you have, your resources, and make sure you deploy them effectively and provide, some strategy on how you can do that. Implement resource allocation strategies to maximize efficiency. It helps you to be more efficient when you are putting, as my mother says, not all your eggs in one basket, that you're deploying your resources wisely, whatever your resources happen to be. And then the third one under stewardship is track and preserve your business assets with a preservation plan. A preservation plan. Now, I would also add a succession plan to that because we know we're not going to get out of here alive, right? In case somebody didn't know, we're not going to be here forever. And so when we're gone, whatever it is we are doing, if we want a legacy that lasts, then we need to implement a succession strategy, like someone who's going to take over where we left off, or a preservation plan. How are you going to keep it going, right? How are you going to keep these things going when you're no longer here? Welcome, Darlene. Welcome, Gina. I don't think I said hi to y'all. Um, so welcome, implement a resource allocation strategy, and track and preserve your business assets with a preservation plan. And I added to that preservation plan a succession plan. I hadn't really thought a lot about that because I have a daughter who was licensed. She just let her license go. So now I'm thinking, I need to have another plan now for if something happens to me because I happen to be the business owner, the designated broker, and I don't have a managing broker yet. But I'm working on getting one because I want my business to be able to still sustain. I have brokers that still want to get paid when they sell something. So a succession plan. Okay. A preservation plan and a succession plan. And for number 9, to wind it up under legacy, legacy is building long-term wealth. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind. It isn't just what you leave behind. It's about how you build a foundation for future generations to thrive. How you build a foundation for future generations to thrive. That's your legacy. That is your legacy. And some actionable steps under legacy is define your legacy vision and start creating a blueprint for wealth transfer. Now that's powerful. That's powerful because many of us know, right? We know that we're not going to be here, but it's hard oftentimes to plan not being here because there's maybe fear around, well, if I say it, if I speak it, if I write it out, then that's what's going to happen. No, you're preserving your legacy. So define what it is. What do you have a vision for? What do you want to create that stays here? What's the blueprint for the wealth transfer? Because there will be some wealth, right? Bible talks about the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. So I want some wicked wealth to be transferred to me. So if that wealth is going to be transferred, then we need to have a plan. What are we going to do with that money when we get it? What I talk about oftentimes in the program is I'm giving you $100,000. What are you going to do with it? Many people will say different things, but not to have a plan, then what happens when you don't have a plan, the money will plan to leave, right? What does Proverbs says? It takes wings and flies away. So we don't want to have our wealth fly away. We want to preserve it. So let's plan on being wealthy. Let's plan on having that wealth. Let's plan on it. Okay. So some actionable steps. Another one, I did say define your legacy vision and start creating a blueprint for wealth transfer. That was number 1. The second one is introduce legal and financial tools for wealth transfers such as wills and trusts. Wills and trusts. So having a will and a trust, both of those are important. And I was trying to think what was the other thing I was going to say. This is something I learned recently, I'd say in the past couple of months. You can have several trusts and you can have trust over trust. So, I mean, it gets really complicated, but having some legal things in place, some legal tools in place to be able to transfer the wealth. Another thing I learned last year when my brother-in-law passed away, he was single with no children and money in the bank and no, what do you call, no one declared to receive his money when he passed away. So the bank told my husband that they couldn't talk to him because he wasn't on the account. He wasn't the beneficiary. That's the word I'm looking for. So he wasn't the beneficiary. So I happen to know an attorney who's an asset preservation attorney who wrote up my trust, and I called him and I asked him, how can we how can we get access to his money? Because we still needed to make his funeral arrangements and everything, because all he left was a $5,000 insurance policy. And I don't know about any of you, but $5,000 won't take care of casket burial, won't take care, it won't put a dent in it. So he left that, which that's a whole nother story. But the point I'm making is with, sorry, with um, if you have an account and you have not claimed a beneficiary, then first step is to claim a beneficiary on any of your accounts, because if you don't, then the bank keeps the money. They keep the money. But if you have not, or if you know of someone who has not and they've recently passed away, you can get what's called letters of testate. Letters of testate. If you get those letters of testate, my husband did that. I had the attorney draft it up. He drove down. It happens to be in Vancouver, a little bit of ways from where I live. And he went down. He was able to get the funds out of the account, which was important because there were still a lot of expenses that we had to pay in his behalf. But I mean, you're grieving enough, but to have to deal with all these different things that come up, make sure that your house is in order, right, when you leave, because whoever's left behind is going to have to deal with it, and they're, they they don't want to grieve and be mad at you at the same time, right? All right. So the last one is start building generational wealth systems that can be passed down. So under legacy, you can start building generational wealth systems that can be passed down. I think about famous people like the Rockefellers and, even current like Google, Microsoft, all these big industries that happen to be here in the Northwest. They've created these monumental systems, right? That will be here for forever, right? You probably have something inside of you that could last forever. A monumental system that God's gifted you with. And by the way, I am wearing a t-shirt, darling. Women Who Pray Profit. Side note. Okay. So that is the system that we are sharing today, that I am sharing today with you. We've gone through the red light, green light, yellow light, and no matter where you find yourself, whether you're green, there is still room for growth, right? Like Caroline Leaf talks about, that green flourishing plant is like our brain. It can continue to grow and thrive and live. So I want to congratulate those of you who came for both days. I do have a gift for you that I will give you at the end when I have a feedback call. So at the beginning, I asked you, I said, well, if you're here, again, this is all free for today. If you came late and you want an opportunity to catch a replay, we'll talk about that in a feedback call. So what I'm asking again for those who maybe came in later is to book a feedback call, and I do have a Calendly link that I will put in the chat. Make sure I have it. I'll give you a Calendly link, and now I have to find it. So I also want to share with you a little bit about what this program offers. Um, I need to make someone else a co-host. Sorry. Um, yes, ma'am. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I want to tell you about, so many of you have heard my spiel about the red light, green light, and all these different systems. Well, within the program that I'm currently running, it's a 12-month program called Legacy Leader Compass, and I want to show you on screen what that looks like. I'm going to find the graphic and share that with you. Mm, I'm going to talk while I look for it. So Legacy Leader Compass is a program that I've been running since January of this year. I started running challenges on identity because I have seen many people not know who they are, especially here in the Great Northwest. You could call yourself a dog, a cat, a frog, whatever you identify yourself with. And I was pretty upset about that. So I said, Lord, what can I do? I said, well, run a challenge. So I ran a challenge about identity. And little did I know, there were a lot of people that were also having that same sort of, mindset that something's wrong with people with these identity issues. And so I aligned that challenge with who Christ says we are. You know, we're citizens, we're citizens, we're sons and daughters, and we're slaves, right? Bondservants to the king, right? And when I say that term, I mean we get to serve him, right? We get to serve him. And so that's how it all got started. But the modules that we just went through is really my program at a glance. We go into each and every one of these categories. We're on Slack. We meet every week, every Wednesday on Zoom. We meet for 60 minutes on Zoom every week. And each section that we went through, starting with identity, each section is a 4-week time. So since January, we've gone through identity, we've gone through capital, and we just finished systems. And now we are going into communication, and I'm starting with the prophetic. So that is our next module, and we'll go 4 weeks into communicate because communicate has a lot of different layers. And so each week I go through a different layer on those particular areas. So that's what's coming up next. In communication, we'll have 4 weeks. What was the other one? The next one was communicate leadership. Leadership has 4 weeks, and then impact creation that also has 4 weeks. And then we go into the next module. So each module is 4, 8, 12. Each module is 12 weeks, and each subject has 4 weeks. Because believe it or not, I thought when I first started this, I thought, okay, that's a lot. That's pretty heavy. But as we go through it, there's a discovery that there's so many more layers and discovery on how we can be our best selves, how we can be our best business owners, how we can be our best in it when it comes to the transfer of wealth, how we can, be good stewards of our time and of our resources. It just uncovers so many layers of what we have. And so I go through each of those for 4 weeks. Now let me see if I can pull up my schedule. Before I do, does anybody have any questions? Because I've been doing all the talking. Any questions about anything or comments or reflections?
When you were talking about legacy, when my dad passed, he had $852 in his possession. It cost me $800 to cremate him. So I had $2 left of his. I kept those $2. I think I finally spent them, but I kept them for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years in my drawer.
As a memento or
I don't know why I did. That's fine. I just got tired of looking at them in my sock drawer, so I spent them. But that was all my dad left me. No, I shouldn't say all, but he left me a lot. He taught me how to work, how to have fun. But his legacy, which I hope is more that I leave my kids, was my dad never owned a house, never bought real estate. We were migrant workers. We were farm workers. We were when I was a kid. We used to drive around. He showed me different camps, and now most of those camps are gone now. But they were just places and camps and pump houses for water, where we used to live and travel to harvest the crops. We'd start in Texas, go to Arizona, California, just come to Washington, and then either winter in Washington or winter in Texas and start over again. My mom said she learned how to drive in we call it a 10-wheel truck with a split axle. That's what they had, was a truck. They didn't have cars. They had a work truck. And so that's who my parents were. You don't hear much about migrant workers anymore. They don't travel like we used to travel. We chased the crops. That's the only way we ate. I remember remember just I was a little kid. We stopped traveling when I was 6 or so. But that's who my dad was. That's what he started as, and just a worker. Never
What's great,
saved.
yeah.
Never did it. Then
What's
he
great
died.
about you, what's great about you, Leo, is that you're changing the trajectory of your generation because
Yeah,
you're a homeowner, and
yeah.
you're passing that on to your kids. So you can always start new, right? You can start a new generational path. I mean, my father and my mother were and are, my father's passed, but my mother's still living, homeowners. They were also investors. I didn't even know that they were investors. I just knew we would go to rental property and I would collect rent. I didn't know what that was, right? But I come from that generation. So when I married my husband and he came from living in apartments and didn't know what home ownership was like, I said, one of these things doesn't belong here. So I said, I think you need to buy a house before we get married. He was like, what? I said, yeah, I think you need to buy a house. Because I want him to understand what ownership was like. Because he didn't understand, he didn't have a sense of perspective because he had a different perspective. So just because we start a certain way doesn't mean, or we come from a certain path, it doesn't mean we have to stay in that path, especially if we, what is it? We know better. We know better. We can see that there's options, that there's possibilities, right? Thank you. Thank you for that share, Leo. Anyone else with some feedback? I'm looking for the Calendly link for you to book the call. And then I'm going to share the cost of the program. Anyone else with a share? Anything jump out to you from what's been spoken? I know some of the stuff is kind of heavy. It's kind of heavy when you think about, not being here. That sounds pretty heavy. But if you don't plan on it, then it just happens. And people are left behind to pick up the pieces. And that's not a good legacy to leave anyone to pick up the pieces. So any insight, any wisdom in the room to share on that? Mm, okay. I'm reading in the chat. Okay.
I would like
No
to share.
problem. Okay, go for it.
Hi guys, my name is Nadezhda. So I'm here helping Katie, and yes, Katie, your 2 days putting into us, it is give a lots of value in the way that as a business owner to know what to do and how to communicate through the higher power. And I came to Canada from different perspective of wealth at all. In my original country, we do not have this kind of way well to leave to children. Whatever it is, we never talk about this wealth. And coming from that, I didn't know that already. For me, being alive, I have to do the well for my children. It is new for me. Several
Yeah.
years ago that I heard Kathy was talking about, I say, oh, how, why, what to do. So yes, by knowing and getting this information, it is very good to sort out to know what to do in each situation. So like you said, your brother-in-law didn't have anyone to live, and you didn't know how to deal with all of stuff. So yeah, knowledge is very valuable, and yes, to gain knowledge is good. What you're going to do with this knowledge as well. So work wisely and do what you need. Everybody's on different steps, and just pick up where are you and move forward, because life is too short. And I really realize that life is too short when we see that lots of to do and no time. But anyway, Thanks so much, Katie, for instructing I'm saying instructing because yes, not all of gurus are talking about. And if they are talking on the high level already when we have to be on the different levels as well. So
Right.
start from where we are, and it is good to have you aside walking us through steps. Thanks so much for this event, and it is very, very valuable information that you shared with us. Really
Thank you. Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now I have my, trying to see if I can get the whole screen showing.
Why are you in black spot?
Can you see my screen?
We do.
Oh my gosh, I did the wrong. Let me change it. Stop share. I thought I was putting it where I have my face with the graphic, but I didn't do that right. So let me try
It
that
was
again.
graphic with your face.
Oh, let me change that. Let me change that. Let me change that. Okay, let's see. Share. I want to share this screen, which has the program at a glance. Can you see my screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, I see Legacy Leader Compass, different colors.
Okay. Yes, yes. So this is the program at a glance. Just so you can see, this is where we play the game, where we have the numbers and the colors. So in the center is the compass, which spins around. We start with acquiring, and that's where we have identity, multi-million dollar mindset, and it goes around systems, communicate. This is where we're at right now, this week where that's coming up. Then we go into the Leaders Hub, impact creation. And then we swing around this way to wealth. Actually, I should have put the number here, but wealth, stewardship, and legacy. And that is the program at a glance. And then, sorry, then we go down here to, I'm gonna find my pricing here. Y'all get to see all my drafts. Okay, so here is the offer. So basically, I provide this program in the form of we do weekly Zooms, and the cost is for it's a 12-month program. As I said, it's every week. We meet every Wednesday. The price is $4,995. There's $19.95 down for a 30-day payment plan. Plans are available, 3 pay, 6 month, and then there's a renewal and extension for 50% off. There's payment plans for, I can use Stripe, Zelle, or Venmo. I offer VIP days, events, and retreats. The tools that I use are workbooks, playbooks, worksheets. I have video training. I do different types of exercising. And it doesn't matter if you think the program is not for you, I still want you to book the feedback call because I want to hear from you how you thought these 2 days were, even if you just came for the last part of the last day, because I really want to hear your feedback about the program. So don't let the cost be your deciding factor to not book a feedback call. The feedback call is really truly for feedback and for those of you who want to take it a step further. Because I do have the ability to offer sponsorships, I do have the ability to do different things because I'm the founder of this particular model. And so it's been a pleasure to serve you. And I just wanted to at least let you know what the price was and encourage you because I was able to give you all of this valuable content. All I ask in return is your showing up for a call. If you book a call, be a person of honor and actually, take the call and then give me your honest feedback. Give me your honest feedback. And then I'll be able to share a little bit more in detail if you want more detail about program and how maybe it could be a different type of program for you. I do have one-on-one. I do some one-on-one coaching as well. So there is many, many opportunities for growth, and I enjoy what I'm doing. I mean, real estate's my bread and butter for 30 years now, but I've been really enjoying teaching, training, coaching. consulting in this space because I think legacy is important. I think that knowing what you have and being able to harness it in such a way that it has an impact for future generations, not just for our children, but for our grandchildren and the children beyond them, and not just in our lineage, but for, for, sorry, for all of creation. It excites me. I'm just excited about this process and what I'm creating and what others are creating. I'm seeing the impact of what I've been teaching for others and seeing what they are doing, and it's phenomenal. And the ideas that people are coming up with that they're so excited about that they want to run out and give the world, that I'm like pulling back the reins saying, hold up, wait a minute. Let's make sure that you purpose it and protect your intellectual property because we have ideas that we just want to go and share with the world. But, you know, we need to like bring that back in and make sure that we honor the gift that's in us because the gift that's in us is not for prostitution. And I just learned that last night in a Bible study, about what was Ezekiel, what was it, Ross? Ezekiel 30, 37, I can't remember, but it's talking about the two harlots, right? So when I think about the gift that's inside each and every one of us, if we just give it away, we're not honoring the gift. It's not about us. So when you look at the price, it's not about me. It's about the gift that's in me. It's about everything that's been put inside of me. All the mentors that have poured into me, all of the programs that have been poured into me, all of the wisdom that's been poured into me. That's the gift. It's not Kathy. It's the gift that's inside of me. And so it's truly been a pleasure. And go ahead and save that link, that Calendly link. Click on it. Find a time that you can schedule for a feedback call, and that is how you can show your gratitude for being here today. That is what I ask. And again, it doesn't matter whether you decide it's okay. Don't feel committed. Don't feel compelled to do so. I just want your honest feedback. Okay? Alrighty. All right. Any feedback for this event can be shared in the feedback call. But um, if you just want to come on and say maybe like Leo shared about his takeaway, if you have maybe a personal thing that you want to share, this could be a good time for that on the impact that you maybe want to make in in your life. I'm sure there's dreams and visions here in this room, many, many dreams and visions.
Thank you, Kathy. Fabulous job. I will get with you as we have already pre-agreed to. I've got to go collect some eggs and they will all go in the same carton. And it's in between storms and tornadoes. So from
Okay.
Oklahoma, we're out. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. All right. Well, I didn't get to take that picture like I planned, but I think I can go back if I have my view in gallery. I can go back. Yeah, I can go back and take a picture. So thank you all for being here. It's been such a pleasure. Some of you are off screen, but still. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Najishta, for taking that picture. Yeah. I think I need some water. But I'm glad. I sing this song all the time, but I'm not gonna sing it now because I'm not the best singer. But I always sing a Carol Burnett song at the end of my YouTube lives. I have YouTube lives that I do every night, and I sing the Carol Burnett song, and I do my ear like that. So just pretend I did that. All right. Well, we got exactly 2 minutes. I just want to check in and see if there's anyone that wants to do a short, maybe a thank you would be nice.
I thank you, Kathy, but I think you know that the noise in my background won't allow me to get on here much. Oh,
No, I know.
for me. He just and look, he quieted down for just a moment, but I was just seeing pass by. All right, love
Yep.
you, and I appreciate you and all of this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Legacy Queen, it's loud here, but I love you. It is such a pleasure in this season of my life to be doing partnership with you. So I love you, and I'm glad that you got to meet my other coach in my life, Darlene. And y'all, we'll have to tell y'all a story about that when you can get somebody else in the city and you're not there yet, and your other people take care of people. That's relational currency and collaborative intelligence. So, God is good and God is faithful, and I'm really excited for what's about to come. So y'all been coming to Baby Girls Challenges. She's helping Auntie Roz get hers together. So I'll be looking forward to seeing y'all. I love you. Hey,
All right.
Al, where I hear you and your beautiful smile. Al, I pray you feeling better. And Al, we got to connect because I think you're in California. I got to communicate something with you. So take care. And hey, Karen, I love y'all. Ciao.
All right. Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
Hello.
Thank you.
I would like to say something, Kathy, if that's okay.
Sure. Sure.
First of all, thank you, and the information that was presented, that was beautiful and inspiring as well. Um, Leo, that was a good story, and I'm glad that you're going to draw from that and build a legacy for your family. And I've done that. I took that inspiration early. I did take advantage of a trust, and I did jump in on, let's just say, some wealth strategies, which I have enforced, and I'm doing quite well. And God is definitely blessing. And Roz, I'm not sure where the prayer thing came in. I'm alive and well, but it's good to hear your voice and to see your smiling face as well. But I'm definitely praying for you, Kathy, and congratulations on a beautiful job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So there is an event link for those who maybe dropped off early. I have everyone's email address because you registered, so I'll send that Calendly link again just for the to book the post-event call because that's part of the admission is to book the call, right? Okay. So thank you all and appreciate you showing up. Those of you who came the entire time will be entered into a drawing, and I will announce that winner tomorrow during the feedback call. I'll announce that winner. So thank you so much.
Goodbye.
All right, bye bye.
Hey, Kathy. Bye-bye.
Oh, we're going to talk, Sharon? You're frozen. I think Sharon is frozen. Sharon, were you trying to say something? You're frozen. Is she frozen or am I frozen? She's frozen? Okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a second and see if if
maybe
she was
connection is bad.
right. Right.
The weather is, if she's beside the river there, yeah, it's too
That's
windy outside.
that's the virtual background.
I know.
Okay, she
She's
dropped, so
doing
she must have lost her. So I'll reach out to her. I'll reach out to her. So thank you, Janet, for hanging in there. You came the whole time.
I had a little trouble getting in today, and I don't know if it was weather related because there have been some storms around us. We haven't been impacted by anything, but storms around